When should a producer quit their job, whatever their day job was or night job was, to focus on being a film producer entirely? When do they feel like, or when do you feel like that's a safe transition?
Yeah, it's really hard to be safe when transitioning from something of structure or stability to being a producer. Unless you got a job, you were hired at a studio or something like that. It's a hard thing, but if you're coming from the independent world and you're like, all right, I'm about to venture out and just do this, it's really hard to establish a safe thing. I think wisdom is the most important thing. Wisdom within a place that could be very dangerous. For one, whatever your profession is or whatever you're making your money in, see if you can continue making that money while still doing it. And if you say, I can't, find out why. Like, is it a money problem, a time problem? Is it a capacity problem? Because it's gonna look so green on this side of like, I get to live out my dreams. And I even work with somebody right now where they're like, I just can't wait till I can quit my job. And I'm like, yes, but then this, that seems so perfect. Even when they come to set, we're stressed. They're like, this is great. I'm like, yeah, but when this is your thing and everything is dependent on it, that stress is something that you're gonna experience higher than your job because there's no net there. So just be aware of why is it that I feel that I can't do my job still and do this? So then come up with a plan. So for me, I was doing events and I never had that cushion. I always had, I don't know, living on the dangerous side. I always had contracts and I didn't have a job. I always had that. But you know, with events, you get that one client that just keeps, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? It's great. So I had that. But those clients, I couldn't do, you know, I produced a lot of big events, and then I also did personnel management for like US Open, just to give an idea of the high level amount of pressure or importance of me being there, right? So to remove myself from that, I had to save money, and that money that I saved was enough. If something went bad, I could have money to exist on before I went and did something else to make some money. Like if that's money, and that's different for everyone. You gotta really take an account of what your life is. I live way below my means, always. That's something I learned from my dad, being this Jamaican man. But what do I need to survive? And what do I need to survive for 6 months? 6 months, like if something went bad. I didn't get to the 6 month. I didn't have a little nest egg that big, but I was able to have like a solid, like say 4. Put away, because 4 months, I'm scrappy. If things go bad, I can find some money in 4 months, you know? So put some money away to where if something went bad or didn't work out, don't have a safety net where you're gonna quit, but have a safety net where you can still figure it out and you don't have to just fall apart and then go work at a soup kitchen. I don't know, something, you know. So that, and then figure out who is your support system in this next venture. Because a lot of times we think, again, it's so green on that side where I'm going to be having this wonderful career, but it gets really hard and it's not the same support as a job. People are like, oh, my boss is this, my boss is that, this manager, but there's a manager there. There's somebody that manages you. There has been teams of people that sat and came up with a plan of what you're going to do today. That's an employee. Now you go into the other world where now you got to figure that out. You need a support system of people that you can bounce ideas off of, that can hold your head when you're crying. You know, there's so much more that needs to be built into your life that isn't necessary for a job. We're, as Americans, you know, like the industrial age really put us in that employee mindset, which is fine. Like that's how we survived all these years. But now as we're venturing out to things in business, film is a business. So you're going to film, you can't just think, oh, I'm a creative. You're also a business because you're going to have to do something. You're now a commodity. At the job, your time is your commodity. You're asking, can you pay me for this amount of hours? Now you're saying, hey, I have to build my art and build myself to be a commodity enough where someone's going to pay me to do it. And that's a whole new world. And you don't know it yet unless you're coming from business to business. Like if I was, you know, this awesome business person, that's why some people you see like Ava DuVernay, like she kind of crossed over and she's like, whoa, she's this huge director out of nowhere. It's like, no, she was doing this thing already. So if you haven't already been doing it, understand you're going to come into it at an elementary level and don't have these ideas of grandeur like, oh, I'm good. Like, no, you're not. It's okay. So have a very strong support system, read a lot. And I don't mean just reading film books, read for something that's going to feed your mind because times are going to get harder than what you can imagine. And that's not like doomsday, but it's like you're going to experience some very new things. So that's hard. New is hard. So if you're experiencing new things, you need some truths to hold on to in those moments. So read. Me personally, I read a proverb every day. Every single day I read a proverb. And I'm always trying to read some type of book. Even if it's like, I mean, our time, like sometimes I'm not sleeping, so I'm not reading as much. Like, hey, I could just grab this little John Maxwell book and just read a page of it. Okay, and then go back to what I'm doing, you know? So just feeding yourself. You don't need to feed yourself as much when you're in an employee mindset, but you need to feed yourself when you're in a position where either business ownership or where you're now a commodity, you have to feed yourself, and you're getting rejection, you're getting this, you're getting that. And remember, the things that cause someone to quit is not usually their ability. It's usually something that is happening that they can't overcome. So let's go ahead and build yourself up to where you're not going to quit when things get hard, because things will get hard. And then outside of that, timing is everything. Like, let's say, I don't know, whatever the position is that you have, know the timing of it. Like, if you hold off for one more year. And you hold off for one more year, you're able to execute this plan of saving and such without as much stress. You know, that's the timing of that. Or, okay, you have a film idea, great. Have you written it yet? Have you talked to the people that are going to be helping you in this next moment? If you're going to be a producer, do you even know what project you're going to be working on? I left fully when I was ready to produce my own feature. I was producing things and doing this. It was like pulling me all types of directions, and I lived like that for years. It was hard, but be okay if you're in a hard space and you're like, this is too much, good. Because when you're ready to step out, that too much, when you take off one element, you're gonna feel like, I can do this even more than someone that's just like, right off the bat, like, I'm quitting, I'm going. But everyone's different. Some people just like throw their cares to the wind and jump into it, but they're jumping into something that already exists. So where are you going? So yes, you're ready to go. That's great. Uncomfortability is a sign of change. You need to change if you're uncomfortable. And I think that's what we are created with. I believe in a creator. So what you were created with to say, there's something in me that is so uncomfortable in this box. I gotta get out. Good. But be prudent about it. Talk to people. Find out where you're going before you just throw everything away and say, I'm done. Some people tell me, wow, you're so courageous. You're so bold. Like, how did you do that? And especially because when I was leaving that world, one of my clients offered me double my salary for an event. And that's where I knew I had to go. Because I could have just been like, oh, more money. But if they offered me double, and that entire time they weren't paying me double, I realized that I will only be paid, even though I was great, I will only be paid by someone how much the least amount they can do for my worth. But when I got into film, now I'm creating my own entity. Now I can go ahead and say, I'm going to make it what it's worth. I'm going to make it what it's worth. I'm going to add the pieces together to make this worth something. Not someone telling me my worth is this and then saying, you know what, I'm going to subtract. You know what, I'm going to add. So I think it's really important to just really know where you're going, to be uncomfortable, good, but just know how long can you handle that uncomfortability is longer than you think. And don't think that it's wasted time with this job, because it's building something with you that's going to be applied in other things. I don't care what the job is. You can be working at Starbucks, a hot dog stand, whatever, because that juggling perspective of starting something while doing something, or even just having that ability to dream while you're under that cloud, that's strength being built. And that's like strength you can pull from later on, and it's residual income. Like, where it's like, hey, the things that I went through in that time period of kind of doing both, I'm able to really pull from that moment when I'm like, this is too much. I'm like, wait, I don't have to do an event tomorrow. I'm good. You know, like, so it's something, again, confidence based in work. I already overcame things. I already have done those things while trying to get to the goal. Yeah, but that also was doing this. I know I can do something. I can make things with my own hands. I can achieve greatness. I can do these things. So do that. Prove it to yourself. Do a confidence check. Like, you know, like, am I confident enough to do this? And then go off and do it. And then it's like without refrain, without looking back, with no second, like, you know, like, this is my plan B. No, only have a plan A once you get there. But don't hear people say that and be ignorant to the fact that they got there. You can't start at like, no plan A, no plan B. I'm only plan A. But wait, hold on. How do you get there? You have to be prudent. You have to be wise. You have to make decisions. You have to make plans. And then you can cast all that away and jump in with both feet.